How'd you first hear that Dave bought Barstool back from PENN?
Right.
What was your reaction?
Okay, so this is a funny story too. Okay, so that day, or maybe the night before, no, I think that day at like 7 a.m., I think they sent out a meeting to everybody, said company-wide meeting, 4 p.m. And I remember thinking, this ain't good. I remember texting somebody who was like, do you know what this is about? And there were some rumors, and I was like, this ain't good. And I was like, but that day I was not going to the office because I did a video. Do you know who Brett Cooper is on Daily Wire?
Yeah.
So I was shooting a video with her that day. And I remember telling her, I was like, yeah, there's a company, like, I don't know it could be bad. And it was about to happen at 4 p.m. It was like 3:55. We were in Central Park. My phone was at like 2%. I was like, does anyone have a charger or whatnot? And then they didn't. And I was like, oh man, like what's going to happen? I'm going to miss the meeting and I'm going to miss what's going to be said. And my phone stayed like alive for enough to get a few texts. And then every group chat went off. And then I remember asking I was like, what happened? And they said, Dave bought the company back. And I was like, I remember thinking, what? And then my phone died. And I was like, what the fuck? And then I was like, Brett, and she had her whole team there. I was like, I think Dave just said he bought the company back. And then she went on her Twitter and went on, she's like, no, yeah, that happened. And I was like, what? But I was like, what did he say in the meeting? But I couldn't ask anybody because my phone was dead. And I remember I got back to the office. I wasn't even going to go back to the office that day because we ended around like 5. And I went back to the office and I remember that was the most like electric the office was in a bit. People still believed in Barstool. Yeah. When with PENN. Yeah. But that was like almost like we're back. Yeah. Like it's like
a Wolf of Wall Street moment.
Yes. And everyone was like, oh, like let's fucking go. Yeah. But I remember thinking, I was like, a lot of the people that I work with and are that I'm at Barstool never saw the company when it was just Dave.
Got it. Yeah.
And I remember thinking to myself, I was like, oh, this is amazing, but it's like, it's going to be different. And it's going to almost be like a coach coming in and like, it's like, he's a player's coach, but he's also like, he's going to yell at you.
He's a businessman too.
Yeah. It's like, he wants to like, it's like we have to be on our like, not that we weren't, but we have to be on, what is it? P's and Q's?
P's and Q's.
Yeah. We have to be on our P's and Q's. Yeah. Even more so. Yeah. And I like that because it's almost like, all right, I know I've been already pushing myself, but it's like another thing where it's like, all right, now it's just another, you could say it's pressure, but it's more so like, I wouldn't say it's pressure. It was more so it's like an excitement, but it's like
it's what you want though, right?
Yeah. And I thought potentially that meeting was going to say, because Dave even talked about it. He's like, who knows if my contract's up at this point? And I thought they were going to announce that day. Like, oh, Dave's going to leave Barstool at the end of his contract. And he was going to announce that to everybody. But the complete opposite happened. And
so sweet.
I'm like so happy it did. I loved PENN. They were amazing. But it was almost like, oh, we got our guy back. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
and the company was very excited. And PENN was amazing for Barstool, and hopefully they'll be great they're with ESPN now. Yeah. And there's a lot of guys that like we worked with PENN that I missed. Like they used to come into the office and stuff. Like I miss them. Like the regulator guy. He was a lawyer, but he was like one of my favorite guys. His name was Westy, or is Westy.
It's a tough job, the regulator.
Oh my God! He was almost like a Toby from The Office. Like he was the bearer of bad news. Like you can't say this, you can't say that, and that's tough for Dave and Dan, who are both, you know, always wanting to say this, that, the other. And you're live all the time. And then these random gambling commissions would use this thing set in the third quarter of a Penn State, Wisconsin basketball or football game against them to not get a gambling license. When Dave and Dan were like, well, we were obviously kidding. Like, that was a joke. So, but I hope not divorce, but it's almost like the parting of ways benefits both of us, and I think it will.